Hi, and welcome back to Cracking On with the Sun. And I'm joined today again by Oliver Grady.
Can't get rid of me.
I know.
Right?
You're like Dermot O'Leary.
Oh God, am I Dermot? Am I Ben? On Friday, I was Ruth. I was owning Ruth. But maybe I'll bring that kind of Butch Dermot energy today.
Yeah, I love that. Amanda, again, suspiciously absent. Are we going to be seeing her in the villa?
I mean, all the signs are pointing that way, aren't they? Where is she?
Well, she would be the ultimate bombshell.
She would, indeed.
I mean, actually, though, it's perfect timing to have you here because you have been in that hideaway in the villa.
I love that hideaway.
And last night, obviously, they dusted the cobwebs off the hideaway.
They didn't pull out the second bed. I was waiting for that. I was like, are they going to wake up in the morning and one of Callum's 16 are going to be in that double bed that they're going to pull down?
Yeah. So let's just cycle back and recap.
Okay.
So over the weekend, various episodes, we learnt that since Callum and Molly broke up, Callum slept with 16 girls. Now,
I was trying to do the math. I was like, is that 3 a week?
It's not even that, but I mean, I don't know what this says about me, but that's like 2 or 3 a month.
Oh, yeah, 2 or 3 a month, not 3 a week. That would be a lot more, wouldn't it?
Which, for an attractive guy that's single,
exactly,
that's really not that bad.
And I was thinking as well, like, apparently he went to Bali, right? So, like, he might have had, like, 1 a day for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which would have basically given him sort of 14, and then just maybe the odd one here and there. But I don't know. I mean, it isn't that bad, but I also think if Molly had said she slept with 16 men since breaking up with Callum, it would have been... I don't think he would have liked that.
No.
I think she would have been viewed much more harshly for that.
I agree. But I think that he was judged harshly as well.
He wasn't. Fair play to him for owning it. I mean, he could have lied. He could have said, 2 or 3, couldn't he?
A month.
I mean, I love the fact that he knew as well.
I know.
I think you'd start to lose count after a while.
So this is what I was going to say. Do you think that... you know when you're sort of a teenager and you start doing bits and bobs, like, I don't know about you, but I had a little list of people I'd kissed.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Organised gal that I am. And I'm wondering if, because obviously Callum said this is the first time he'd been single, and that's why, he'd got so busy, whether he's got a little list on his phone.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I mean, God, it's so long since I've been single. It's like 20 years, so I don't even remember how people do it. But
are you one of Callum's 16? Because we want to talk to you.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Did he write your name on the notes app on his phone?
Has he got a list? Has he got a chart?
Yeah. Oh,
Are any of these girls going to come into the villa?
Well, if I was ITV right now, I'd be cycling through Callum's Insta likes. Yeah. That might be the way of doing it. Recent ads.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of these girls are semi-famous. They won't all be civilians.
Yeah. The other thing that I love is that he did go to Bali. Has become this like fictitious land of like hooking up. It's like anything goes when you're in Bali. Yeah. It's the new what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It is. Yeah, I love it. It's kind of eat, shag,
pray.
Love, yeah.
But one person that obviously didn't really seem that bothered by the 16 was Georgia S.
She wasn't phased at all, was she?
No.
Oh my God, I'm buzzing.
Sick of it first
And do you know what, Cal? I honestly wouldn't want to be in here with anyone else.
Nah, me neither. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It was so weird because she really doesn't seem that into the poor boy, does she? I mean, she kind of did a good act in the hideaway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be here with anyone else, Cal.
Yeah, no, I know. Right. And actually, I've got some juicy gossip of what's coming up on tonight's show of that trio unravelling. So stay tuned for that, and I'll... Oh, you're excited now, aren't you?
I am excited by that. Yeah, I think it was a shame with the hideaway because it didn't feel like there was that many options for who they could really send in, did it?
No.
It felt like, I mean, this recent recoupling is such a mess. Like, I feel like there's popular islanders, but no real popular or strong couples.
No.
But I think we would have got more action if they'd sent Tyler and Hannah in.
I think you're right, just because they're both a bit more...
A bit friskier.
Yeah. And I mean, oh God, R.I.P. Arabella and Chris, because that would have also been a juicy hideaway, I think.
I forgot Arabella. I mean, Arabella was barely shown last night.
Yeah.
Literally 0 screen time.
God, blink and you'll miss that. I had such high hopes for them, but...
I did.
Then Chris
Chris has gone down in my estimations massively.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to claw that
I
back.
think, as we said in our TV Biz column on Friday, less Oscar, more Ofcom.
Yeah, I like that. That was a strike for the feminists.
Yeah, well, like, you just can't be speaking to people like that. And it was very gaslighty. And obviously we only see the way it's edited and all this, that and the other. But I did hear from sort of people behind the scenes on Love Island that everyone felt collectively quite uncomfortable about the way he was speaking to Arabella. And, you know...
What's your tone? It felt like almost coercive control, didn't it?
Yeah. Eek.
Yeah.
But then, let's say it's not just the boys acting badly. Georgia Steele, how does she think she's going to contain this mess that she's creating?
I don't think this can wait till movie night, till it all explodes, can it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to be great material for movie night when we get it.
100%. Well, one thing I can let you know is that
Okay.
tonight we see the return of Snog Marry Pie.
Ooh.
Which feels like an early deployment
It is.
of Snog Marry Pie.
Yeah.
But I think it's what we need to address some of these elephants in the room and cover them with pie.
So you think this is going to be the undoing of Georgia tonight?
I think there's going to be some truths shared.
The thing is, I really like Georgia, and I'm really rooting for her. But reading Twitter and stuff last night, people are like, she's finished, she's done. Like, this is... I think she was kind of a front runner to win it at one point. And what is also making me slightly uncomfortable with Georgia is I got the impression last night that Tom's gone a bit off her. I don't know, like, he seemed really, you know, they were having that flirty chat by the fire pit, and then she went into the hideaway, and then when she pulled him up into the terrace, I don't know, I just wasn't getting the vibe from him at all that he was that bothered.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's the original terrace Tom.
He is.
On that very terrace, in fact.
He is.
I wonder whether he's just desperate not to come out of this as a player.
But then the way he did that, like, he was kind of distant with her, but then he was like, oh, come and sit here, come and sit next to me, tapping the, you know, he's got the moves, like, you know, the boy knows the things to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're queuing up for him, aren't they? But I'm wondering if maybe now he's kind of a bit more into Molly.
Yeah, well, they were snogging in bed.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, snogging in bed is Love Island's version of a promise ring. If you're snogging in bed, that means that you're doing it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
The opposite of a purity ring.
The one, do you know, should I tell you who I felt really sorry for last night? And it was Kaz.
Oh, Kaz.
I know, because do you think that she now thinks, oh my God, I do want to be with Tyler? Or do you think it was just watching him go off on a date with Hannah?
I don't think she's massively into Tyler. I think it's more about that feeling of history repeating itself. You know, obviously we watched Kaz's first season, and she had, you know, there was a whole race row. It felt like they weren't sending in boys that were attracted to her. Then she kind of obviously had this change of path when Tyler came in and things started to look up for her. But it does feel like history is repeating itself for her, and I think she just feels a bit undesired and rejected. I don't think it's so much about Tyler himself. I think they're probably mates.
Yeah.
But I think she's just like, where's Ovi? When are they going to send in my Ovi,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, let's talk about who we think. I think Kaz is the one that is crying out for some new arrivals.
Yes.
Liberty needs saving from this Mitch loop, but I think
Yes.
Kaz is the one that really deserves a bombshell.
And I think, I don't want to see Kaz go. I'm really worried. This vote is, I think she'll be okay. But the fact that she's paired with Chris is a bit worrying, considering I think Chris's popularity will have dived a little bit in recent days. But I think it's almost like, I think I was looking on social media last night, and lots of people were voting for Kaz and Chris as their favourite couple because they want to save Kaz.
Yeah.
I think she's so popular. She's like, if you look at like lots of the rankings on Reddit and the forums, Kaz is at the top. And I think, you know, we need to see Kaz have a happy ending from this.
Yeah.
I can't bear this to be, you know, Kaz's story. You know, she's better than these boys that they put in for her.
I agree. So let's talk about her and Toby.
Yes.
Because there was this moment on Unseen Bits where the boys were playing with banging
steel
wooden
pan drum thing.
Yeah, they were banging on there, making a kind of carnival drum beat. And Kaz transformed
Yes.
from sad Kaz to carnival Kaz. She was on that day
Dirty
bed.
wine, twerking.
Yeah, she was all fours,
Yeah.
doing all kinds of sexy moves. And Toby was like, Kaz.
You saw this kind of, almost saw something turn in his brain.
Yes.
I mean, the thing with Toby is, like, I feel like he's a really crap boyfriend, but an amazing friend. Like, I love the way that he's been there for her. But I do kind of ship these two. I feel like there could be something there. But what I loved about that scene with Kaz and Unseen Bits is that we kind of saw the sexy side of Kaz, and we just haven't seen enough of that on the show. And I think, I remember when I interviewed her just before she went into the villa, she's a sexy girl and she's confident. I remember her saying, like, I said to her, like, are you worried about things kind of history repeating itself in there? And she said, I know I'm sexy as hell. Like, I don't care what these boys think. I know I'm sexy as hell. And I'm like, I felt like that clip showed us that Kaz.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to see, I'm like, why aren't the boys seeing that?
Yeah.
You know?
Right, campaign for Kaz. This is what we need to do.
Come on, Kaz.
Right, so we need some bombshells in for her. But actually, over the weekend, The Sun revealed that a couple of the potential bombshells who had been in talks have now been banned from the villa.
Yeah, this is quite awkward timing for them. So basically, there's a few former Islanders that have recently filmed Celebrity X on the Beach for MTV.
Yeah.
So we've got Joe Garrett, we've got Paige Turley, and we've got Finn Tapp. So obviously Paige and Finn were in a relationship and sadly broke up after a few years together. And then Joe Garrett's done it too. And there's a clause in the MTV contract that basically says they're not allowed to do any competing dating shows. And because I think they were perhaps expecting Celeb on the Beach to have already aired, and it hasn't, they've held on to it. So they're basically stuck in contractual limbo where they haven't been able to film All Stars, and they were all in talks to do it and wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I actually think that maybe Paige and Finn were probably earmarked for the Callum and Molly entrance at the beginning. And then when they couldn't do it, that's when they kind of brought in Callum and Molly instead.
Yeah, because we do know that Callum and Molly were sort of later on in negotiations, whereas we'd been hearing about Paige particularly
Paige
for
was
a while.
there for ages,
Yeah.
So a bit gutting for them. But as the Love Island EP, Mike, said, you know, they're hopeful that All Stars will be an annual thing, and, you know, there's a big pool out there. So I think it's a shoo-in that all three of them will probably turn up for the next All Stars.
Well, I think that the rate that they're getting through them,
oh my gosh,
that they're going to end up getting through everyone. So legends out there, do not worry, your time will come.
Yes.
And obviously we know that there's a few already out there in South Africa, be it that they're on holiday, or genuinely waiting. So, for example, Aaron Francis, and then Chugs. I know. Do you know, I have a real soft spot for Chugs because I feel like he just came in and it was that really weird plot twist. Do you remember where Rachel
Finney, was it?
Yeah, had to choose between Chugs and Brad, and she didn't really want either of them. And Brad just completely faked his whole entire vibe with her. And she was like, actually, I should have just chosen Chugs because at least he was a nice guy.
Justice for Chugs.
Justice for Chugs.
Come on, put Chugs in.
Yeah, but I don't think that Chugs would be the man for Kaz.
No, I'm not feeling in for Kaz either.
No.
Kaz wants Ovi, but I don't think he's going to go in.
No, Ovi's been super vocal online about how, I think he said something like, I want my wife and you don't find a wife on Love Island. I'm sure that there's many people that want to be his wife on Love Island.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Right, so this week we've got loads coming up. So obviously the vote for favourite couple opened up last night. Who did you vote for?
I actually think I missed the vote because I watched it on catch up, but I would have voted for Kaz.
Those votes just fly by so fast.
It's like you've got 10 minutes and then suddenly it's like, oh, I missed it. So if I don't watch it live, I end up missing the vote.
Yeah.
So, my vote would have gone for Kaz. Who else would I potentially... I mean, I love Anton. Anton's my boy. Callum kept teasing me on Friday that I was in love with Anton. But, I don't want to see him go either.
Yeah.
Personally, like, I wouldn't care if Sophie and Josh went.
Yeah.
I think Josh is really funny, but Sophie just doesn't do anything for me. She's not my type on paper.
So there's a couple of couples that tonight on the show, Flicks tea time for you, all of a sudden out the gates emerging
Okay.
as really ramping up the action. So one is Sophie and Josh.
Oh.
He says that he wants to make her his wifey.
Really?
That doesn't sit well with you.
I don't really get where that's come from.
Do you know what I think about this is karma on a big steaming gold platter for Chris, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for that sense, I'm kind of here for it.
Because everything was fine with him and Arabella.
Yeah.
Better than fine. Just completely ditched her for Sophie, which is fine. Like, look, people prefer other people. No problem. It was obviously just the way that he did it, which does not sit well with me.
Yeah. I mean, there could be some chemistry. We don't see everything, do we? But sometimes I feel like these kind of breakneck turns in these kind of relationships come out of nowhere on this show.
Yeah.
But I like Josh. I think Josh is actually genuinely hilarious, way funnier than Chris. I think Chris thinks he's the funniest guy in the villa, but I actually think like Josh just comes out with these. He's got that Northern boy banter for me, and he's very funny. And I kind of like the way that the season 1 Love Islanders just don't care. Like Hannah and Josh, I think they're kind of like unfiltered in a way that some of the later. The other ones are all a bit like media trained and polished, and I feel like those season 1 Love Islanders are a bit kind of rough around the edges and just say what they think and have a laugh with it all.
Yeah. We need some more season 1's in there.
Yes.
So the other couple that tonight really hot up, and I say this with a grimace,
Oh God, go on.
Mitch and Georgia H.
Oh,
That girl.
what is she thinking?
I say this with such love, but obviously, you know, her history with Stephen Bear is well known, and obviously I'm not saying that Mitch is on any level like
No.
that, but I do start to wonder about her taste in boys.
When I first came in here, I said Mitch and Chris would have been the main people that I thought I was suited to.
Yeah.
Mitch would be someone I think I'd be compatible with, but my main priority is and always has been my girls.
She's obviously got this thing for a bad boy, and I get it. You know, everybody loves a bad boy, but it's not even that hot.
No.
Like, I don't know. Like, I know it's not all about looks and stuff, but I just think he's kind of a bit. He's like a bit Tesco,
Do you know?
a bit little.
My
maybe even.
my favourite thing about Mitch, and I think this says a lot about Mitch. So obviously, as you say, we speak to the Islanders.
Yeah.
And both times I've interviewed Mitch before he's heading into the villa, he's not had a top on.
A few of them didn't when I interviewed them.
But for me, I'm like, you are doing what is essentially a professional
Yeah.
business Zoom call. So essentially how it works is before they go into the villa, we are patched in via Zoom to the isolation villas where each contestant and islander is stationed before they make their big entry.
Yeah, with their chaperone.
And the girls, I always enjoy it because they're all quite natural. Like, you see them not particularly made up, and I'm always struck by all of their beauty.
Particularly Georgia Steele.
Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. And then Mitch has never had a top on. And I always make the same joke, which is like, oh no, I didn't get the memo that we were doing this topless. Because I just think, put your nipples away, mate. This is a business call.
Exactly. Like, we wouldn't have turned up in our, imagine if we'd been topless on it.
Well, I mean, nobody wants that.
I mean, or like in our jammers, or, it's just, it's not professional.
No, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing tonight is going to be Snog Marry Pie. I wanted to ask you some of your favourite Snog Marry Pie moments over the years.
Oh my
Putting you on the
God,
spot here.
you are putting
Let
me
me
on
just
the
share
spot.
mine while you
Go
think
on
of
then.
yours. Two in particular, and they're recent examples. Do you remember recently when it was the summer one and Zach couldn't stop laughing when Katie snogged him and Molly went mad about it?
Molly,
And he just
yes.
couldn't stop laughing. And I felt like that was a real moment where we saw the real Zach, because he was very reserved the whole time. I don't know if you remember.
He was really reserved, wasn't he? And I mean, Katie didn't bring much, did she, that season at all? And I think she was probably one of the more disappointing signings that they've had, particularly as like a returning bombshell. But yeah, she definitely pushed some of Molly's buttons,
She
which I
did.
quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, favourite.
My
Snog Marry-
second
Go on.
favourite, sorry, because I just have to share this
You're
with
hogging
you.
them. Go on.
Claudia Fogarty
Oh,
in
Claudia.
winter, and it was just after Casey had dumped her for that new one.
It was
Rosie.
C something.
Yeah. Such a good encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah. Useless information.
And she made it like her moment and was all like, you can't have your cake and eat it and all that kind of thing. And that's what I think that Snog Marry Pie is really good for, is it sort of forces these like, it makes situations come to a head.
Yes.
Is what I think. And that's why I think that it's going to be particularly juicy on tonight's show, because there's a couple of situations there that need to come to a head. Arabella and Chris, clearly there's that simmering tension. They're obviously going to pie each other. I think we're going to have a massive row there. And then I want to see some unexpected snogs.
Kaz could come into her own.
That's
with
what
this
I was
one.
thinking.
Kaz and Toby.
That would be good,
That would
wouldn't
be
it?
good. See if there's a bit more chemistry there. Who else could we maybe see? Well, Kaz and Tyler. Will she have a bit of a snub with him? See if she can resurrect the old magic.
I always like when a game presents an opportunity for an
Yes.
unexpected snog.
Yes.
So we'll see.
We'll see. I'm trying to think of my favourite Snog Marry Pies. I mean, I remember Anton getting a fair few pies back in the day.
I think he's going to have multiple marries.
Oh, he's
Isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, I still don't get why more of the girls aren't into him.
There was this really funny moment that I wanted to talk to you about on Unseen Bits of Anton and Georgia actually being really cute together several times, because I didn't really believe in that relationship. It always felt quite one-sided.
Yes.
But either Georgia was really giving it a good go, or at moments she was genuinely feeling it. But there was one really cute moment when they were in the kitchen and she was like, I want to be here when you do the sexy thing with the coffee. And I was like, Anton makes the iced coffees in a cocktail shaker.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And she was like, do it both sides. And it was...
He was giving him his, what's that cocktail movie? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very like that. And I think he even did like the little Tom Cruise stuff. And I think that the Love Island iced coffee situation has just become this whole sort of almost bizarre second universe of Love Island, because all they talk about is how they like their coffee.
Yeah. It was Toasties for a while, and then it's gone on to coffee.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't merged that. I'm surprised they haven't brought out a Love Island brand of iced coffee.
Why is there not a Love Island coffee cup? It's
I
just the water
know.
bottles. I know. But then the other thing which I thought on Unseen Bits was surprising, and they may be doing her a bit dirty, is Molly. Some surprisingly funny moments from Molly.
She's very dry.
Yeah.
She's I like her. I think she's got wit.
Yeah.
But we don't see enough of it on the main show, you're right.
Her and Tyler, just to, slightly PR Molly here, give her dues, because I've previously called her boring, so I feel like I ought to. Her and Tyler were having this slightly weird conversation about like household items and which one they'd be, and he said that he'd be, I can't remember, it was dull, but then
wooden
Molly
spoon.
said I'd be the toilet because I always get on.
Oh, I love that. She's a cool girl. I think, I mean, initially, I've said it before, I was rooting for her and Callum to kind of rekindle as a kind of nice arc, but I just think she's way too good for him. She's way too funny. I don't think he's got the banter.
Yeah.
I think that she's been done dirty by him. And yeah, I think it's funny because a lot of girls don't seem to like her. Like when you read the reactions to her, they sort of seem to think she's a bit cold, a bit icy.
Yeah.
She sometimes has a bit of a face on, doesn't she? But I think there's just a lot more to her than we've seen on the main edit.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's because they keep having her in these like romantic spots. And
Who wouldn't have a face? I mean, she's been through a lot, hasn't she?
know.
She's had to. And what I loved about Molly last night, I thought it was such a queen moment, and a kind of, they all talk about kind of being there, being a girl's girl. But when Hannah was going on the date with Tyler, Molly, there was a small moment where Molly kind of put her arm around the small of Kaz's back and just went, "Are you all right, mate?" And it was kind of blink and you'll miss it, but I just thought she knew what Kaz is going through because she's had to go through it herself, and It kind of showed me what a nice mate she is.
Yeah.
And there isn't really enough of that. Like, I feel like, for all Georgia talking about how she was mates with Molly, I don't really think they were ever that matey.
No. Can you imagine being in a room with someone being like, oh yeah, those sexy pants, wear those sexy pants, when they're going off to potentially become number 17?
I find the whole Hideway thing a bit weirdly misogynistic as well, because like the men come down there in just like their kind of, Callum made basically zero effort, came down in just like what he wears all the time, and she's there in like tiny kind of lingerie, a kind of cover up, just open. It all feels really weird.
Yeah, I'd just be tempted to just like properly troll and just come out in like PJs, not even sexy PJs.
Bridget Jones knickers and PJs.
Yeah, should we just go for like a cuddle?
Somebody should do that once.
No, I
Mix it up a
know.
bit.
Oh, maybe that's what we'd have got from Chris and Arabella. No, there'd have been like aggressive tongue going on. So I think that this week we're definitely going to see some more evictions.
Yeah, we need to get a few more of them out, don't we? I want Mitch gone.
Yeah.
Who else do I want gone?
Next time we talk, let's make some little predictions,
right,
and we'll see how you get on. I'm going to note it down.
All
You want Mitch gone?
I want Mitch gone.
Yeah.
I want. The thing is, there's a few kind of people. Like, I want Sophie gone, but I don't really want Josh gone, because I think Josh is bringing me the lols.
I'm going to write this down. Sophie gone.
I want Sophie gone. I want Mitch gone. It's a bit controversial, but I'm not feeling Liberty that much either.
I'm just loving this savageness
I know, it's a
from
bit
you.
savage. I kind of always loved Kaz and Liberty, and Kaz is my girl, but Liberty, I don't know, I feel like she's done this show 3 times now, if you include games, and I just think it's kind of not really working for her, so maybe it's time to kind of move on from the Love Island multiverse.
Did you hear the news over the weekend?
Games.
ITV have officially announced that it's going to be airing on ITVX in February.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Apparently it's brilliant as well. I mean, I feel like I read who wins it, but I've forgotten. Because obviously it aired on Peacock in the US kind of November time, didn't it? So
I know, but I'm not going to say just in case.
Yeah, people don't spoil it for
people.
So
that's exciting for everyone that loves Love Island to be able to keep on the journey.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to have a little fix after the show finishes.
Right, well, I've written down Ollie's bin list.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up on that next time you're here.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I think the overwhelming feeling is that ITV need to throw a lot of money at Ovi.
Yeah, I think in a way we're kind of... This recent recoupling, it's just not sitting well with me. I don't feel like there's any strong couples. In a way, I kind of feel like we needed Casa and Moore. At first, when they binned Casa and Moore, I thought, oh, good plan, yeah. It's kind of like a lot of them are a bit forgettable. But I don't know. I feel like it maybe needs that halfway mark drama. And I'm wondering... I mean, obviously they're going to bring in more bombshells, but I wonder if they're kind of regretting ditching Casa and Moore at this point.
Well, as Mike said to you, they've got other juicy plans instead. So I personally think this viewer vote is going to create drama. So we'll see.
There's always drama, right?
Yeah.
It's Love Island.
Join us every weekday, 5 p.m, for more All the Drama from the Villa.